All right, hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of BrobusCast. I'm your host, Brobuscus. With me today is ZDogg.
This party's getting crazy. Let's rock.
And we have Richard.
I swear to God, if I hear the Nightmare Before Christmas soundtrack at my work one more time, I'm going to nuke Halloween Town.
No, they're so innocent, though. What did they do? The residents are innocent.
Yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Okay, anyway. But yes, so yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said the party's getting crazy today, was I?
That's true, actually. Wow, I didn't even, that, because we have
I'm
not
clever.
one, but two special guests today. And by special, oh God. Because we actually, this time around, we got people who worked on the most recent episode that we're going to be talking about today. First up, Buffy Summers herself, Mair Mulroney. Is that how you say that?
Yeah, what's poppin'? Mulroney, you got it.
Yeah, cool. And then we also have the man, the myth, the window smasher himself, Tyler Tackett.
Hey, it's me. I break stuff.
Yes, you do. And you make it look so cool.
Hey, thanks, buddy. You know, it's a childhood dream of mine to break things and look cool while doing it. And 12-year-old guy could see me now.
I know. I always wanted to break stuff and make it look cool on camera, but my parents told me, no, that's bad. You shouldn't break private property.
That means you gotta stick to breaking hearts, bro.
Exactly.
Oh, God. Just don't break our set, please. That's all we ask while you're here.
We spent a lot of money on this set.
We spent like $30 whole on this.
Something like that.
$30 we ever spent. Well, I actually I actually traded in our golden carrot chair for a golden couch for Mair and Tyler today.
Great.
Hey,
Might I say, very comfortable.
Thank you. Yes, I always like to make sure our guests are comfortable.
There you go.
Even if it means bleeding my wallet.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been some wallet bleeding lately because, hey, we have a new episode to talk about. We didn't invite you guys on for nothing. We got oh God, legitimately one of the crazier episodes we've gotten in recent years. And we literally just had episode 200 like 4 weeks ago, so that should tell you that I'm not just saying that for nothing. Yeah, Blade versus Buffy. Okay, legitimately.
Yeah.
How?
That is a good question. I don't know. I don't know what the budget was for that, but there was a lot of favors pulled for that one.
Yeah,
I bet.
It's not every day live action fights in general, they're rare. Well, this is only number 3.
Yeah.
So they're already rare enough as is. Then you mean to tell me that this one's like 8.5 minutes long? What do you mean?
Yeah. The Kickstarter money did real good this time, I guess.
Yeah, it's not a single penny wasted, I assure you.
Exactly.
I know. I can see it.
I think the main thing with it was, this was really big for Death Battle to be independent. It was like it's their first since going independent, their first live action. So it was really big for them to like flex for the fans and be like, listen, your money didn't go nowhere. And for Ismahawk, they started out on YouTube, and then now, like, they're a big production company, and
yes,
they
they
have
are.
a lot of goals to do, Marvel style feature films. So for them, they're like let's show our audience like how far we've come and what they can expect from us in the future. So it was a lot of flex. It was
yeah, well, you sure did flex really hard, I gotta say, because my goodness, this was cool.
Oh yeah, man. Everybody, it's I've known Danny Shepard, co-founder of Ismahawk. I've known Danny Shepard for probably almost as long as I've known Mair, about 10 years.
Wow.
And Danny and I have collaborated on so many things, and it's so funny to me because every time, the first thing that Danny and I worked on together was actually Nightwing and Daredevil.
Really?
Yeah, that was the first thing. At the time, Nightwing Daredevil was, Ismahawk was popping off with their Nightwing series on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were one of the very first incarnations of these fan films with real Hollywood cinematic effort put into them, right?
Mm-hmm.
At the same time that was going on, I was a part of a team that was doing a live action Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, that's where I found you. I found you
oh, really?
on Dragon Ball Z. Yes, Dragon Ball Z Light of Hope, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. You played Cyborg 17.
That's right.
Oh,
that's right.
God.
That was me. That was, at the same time that we were doing all that, it was like this weird, I had just moved out to LA, and, you're finding your tribe or whatever. And I fell in with Robot Underdog, and it was this crazy, one of my favorite chapters of my life. And at the same time, Ismahawk's doing their Nightwing series, and we all met up. We were all doing the con circuit, Comic-Cons, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And one day, we all, in our teams, we were all homies. And so we all went to breakfast at IHOP one day at like VidCon or something like that. And we were standing in the parking garage after we had breakfast or after the convention or something like that. And Danny, myself, and Noel, who you've probably seen in a ton of Ismahawk videos, the three of us were sitting around in the parking garage just shooting the shit before we all left. And Noel looks at me, and he then looks at Danny. He goes, he'd make a good Matt Murdock, wouldn't he? and I was just like, oh yeah, wouldn't that be cool? Just herka-durka-durka. And then Danny's like, he would make a good Matt Murdock, all mysterious in that very Danny way.
Oh man!
and then then we said our goodbyes and left. And then like 2 days later, Danny calls me and he's like, hey man, you want to play Daredevil? And he tells me it's for Death Battle. And I came up with Death. I've been watching since like the OG days,
Oh,
and
nice.
oh dude, so like my brain exploded. And so we went and did Nightwing Daredevil, and then we proceeded to work together a bunch. And what I was going to get to was Danny, every single time, not just Danny, Jeremy Lee, the cinematographer and also co-founder of Ismahawk, the whole team, Mel, Angela, everybody. They, every single time we start a project, they're always like, this is going to be the best thing we've ever done. I shit you not. Every single time, they're like, we're going to flex as hard as we possibly can on this one. And that's what Nightwing Daredevil was. At the time, and still super proud of that. But then to see how they continue to grow, not just in the death battles, but I mean, if you look at Nightwing Daredevil compared to Winter Soldier Red Hood, I mean,
oh my gosh,
everything was amped up, right? And then going from Winter Soldier Red Hood to now Buffy, again, it's like everybody, every single time, every single department head, the R-Hat Orphan Brotherhood, the stunt team that's designed everything since the Nightwing series, the whole team. Every single time set out to do the best they can, and that includes Mair. Like, not to ramble too much, but babe, you had done a little bit of action work, prior to this in a film, but other than that, you didn't have much of a action background when this started.
No, except for a lot of slapping, but that's about it.
Yeah. She's got a mean slap. So, but she was going to be paired up, and we found out she's going to be paired up with none other than fucking Fiction, the world famous sword fighter playing, Blade.
Yes.
We'll definitely be talking him up later.
Oh gosh, I can go on and on and on. But Mair had a real task ahead of her, and she also knew Ismahawk because we had worked on a film together, and she had followed him. She knew the team, she knew the quality, and she knew Death Battle and what was to be expected. And I cannot praise her enough. It's not just because she's my favorite person, but just as like just as a peer and as a fellow actor and as a martial artist, and just knowing what goes into these things. And knowing the community you're going up against too, because let's be honest, the death battle community can be really divided and sometimes get a little nasty.
Yeah.
You know?
Trust me, we know.
Which is part. It's kind of part of the fun. It's part of the fun.
But in areas,
we have stories. But we're not
yes, exactly.
I'm quite used to being, talk of the comments section in YouTube videos. So it's okay.
So speaking of that, obviously, spoiler alert, Buffy won.
What?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I know.
No, I actually want to comment on that reaction real quick, because that's actually been that's a pretty common reaction amongst a lot of the. I mean, it was kind of divided. I mean, me and Richard had our debate last episode.
Yes. I repped Buffy.
I actually kind of want to. So, for a normal podcast, we would talk about this character won and what we think about that and all of that. We're not going to bore you all with the versus brain rot today, but I do want to know though, what was y'all's reaction to see, hey, by the way, it kind of looked like Buffy's winning this.
We were surprised. I mean,
really?
I remember, when it was brought to us, so first Death Battle gets teams up with Ismahawk. Ismahawk handles the casting, and obviously it needs to be approved by Death Battle. So once that happened, it was like, all right, so this is going to happen. Expect it around to film around this time of the year. You have this many months to start prepping, but we don't know who's going to win because for the next couple of months, they're just Death Battle is doing a huge deep dive to figure out, get all the information that they can to figure out who's going to win. So we don't know yet, but start training. It's going to be an epic fight. So when Tyler and I think I think everybody assumed Buffy was losing. So it was, and I think that's what Danny said. He was like, I think we can probably safely assume that Buffy's going to lose, but I don't know yet, not for sure. So, and Danny was surprised. Everybody, Death Battle was surprised. They were like, so surprised, she actually wins because of this fucking Slayer site.
Yes.
Time. And I know that pissed a lot of people off.
Oh yes. No. So Brobuscus and I, we did as much researching on our end for our debate. We didn't have a lot of time because I was on my honeymoon with my wife at the time, and I couldn't. Thank you. And I couldn't do a lot of Buffy research, but I did finish the series. I did read the continuation comics, and Brobuscus did as much as he could on Blade, and we both came to find out these two have way too many fucking comics. There's no way we can make this work.
Way too much stuff.
Yes, but the Slayer site, that's the big one that I've seen a lot of people be like, I don't think Buffy should have had that. Like, I was just watching a reaction from a friend of mine that said they should have gone fisticuffs. They shouldn't have had their weapons be the deciding factor.
Yeah.
It's like, there's always going to be that part of the debate where you think you know how it will go, but when somebody tells you actually it will go this way, it becomes a whole different playing field right there. Because, that Scythe, man, I tell you.
Yeah.
Unbeatable.
It's just
unbeatable.
It's one of those things. I think I mentioned something similar when we were doing Hulk vs. Godzilla. It was, like you think you know everything about these characters, you don't.
Yeah.
You really don't.
I
don't think they stressed enough in the episode. Hey, by the way, 128 novels that you've never read.
Yeah, I know. No, go ahead, Mair. You have some insight. It looks like.
Well, I think what it came down to was one thing about Death Battles. They wanted to and that was a huge thing that Tyler can tell you about in designing a lot of the choreo. Is certain weapons have to be shown and utilized throughout the episode, and I don't know what the deciding factor is on why certain weapons are used, but it has to. So parts of the fight, like it starts here, we're going to use this weapon, then it has to get lost somehow, which causes them to use this other thing, that type of thing. So if it had just been fisticuffs, I feel like the reason Buffy won was simply because Blade was not able to fully get the upper hand on her. If he had, she would have been screwed. Unless she got her hands on that scythe, but she was able to kind of maintain long enough, and she does have this power that she can tap into.
Yes.
But I kind of view it as like she's a teenager. She's not fully tapped in all the time. Like, she can be a little like rash, like she could have just asked him why he had to kill the girl. Like, she could have done that. No, she shot at him, and now he's like, okay, we're gonna play. So she doesn't always think ahead right away. Might have a little bit of an ego at times.
Oh yes.
So she, but then in those moments where she really needs it, she taps into this thing inside of her that her ancestral knowledge, and that has saved her, and strength, and that has saved her ass quite a bit. But yeah, it was close. She wasn't looking too good there for a minute.
No.
That was kind of the thing about that was fun about doing designing the core. So when it came to choreo design, we had divided up into teams because Fiction and Mair were in Los Angeles, and the rest of the team was based out of Vegas. So we had the Arhat Orphan Brotherhood, Easy and Aaron Ortega, Lance Brazil leading the guys, and they were designing. So all the opening fight stuff with all of the Blade versus all his vampires and Buffy versus all her vampires, all that stuff leading up to when Buffy and Blade start fighting, everything prior to that, that's all Arhat. They designed all of that, and it's great because they're great. But the problem was that Mair and Fiction only got to train and rehearse those really intricate scenes like twice, like 2 days before doing it, and we had 1 day to shoot it.
Oh my gosh,
pretty wild. So if we didn't have the awesome team we did, it wouldn't have happened. But that left the bulk of the fight, the Buffy Blade fight, to the LA team, which is myself with my buddy Tim Neff, who played Red Hood.
Yes.
He and I got to design the rest of the fight. And so when Danny was kind of conceptualizing this thing, he's like, well, I want there to be a distinct difference in the way that they move and the techniques they do, not just the fighting disciplines that they know. Because let's face it, unless it's like a specific character trait, all comic book characters, all martial artists or all like movie fights kind of use a hodgepodge of a bunch of different martial arts.
Yeah.
So it was really going to come down to how the characters moved in a fight, which is a really important part of storytelling, character development, right? Blade, very precise, and he's the Terminator, Wesley Snipes gave him some swag and some humor in Fiction.
Oh, yeah.
Fiction was adamant, like getting some of that in there, like when he does the smile to the camera when he's got the blade.
Yes.
That's all Fiction. That's Fiction being like, yo, homie, let me give it some razzle dazzle. But for the most part, Blade as a fighter is very like Terminator. The thing that Danny and I kept discussing when it came to Buffy is how improvisational she is. She uses her environment. She's very Jackie Chan in that way. So much so that was why when Mair performs beautifully, the sword strip, she takes her jacket and strips the sword from Blade. That's straight out of Jackie Chan.
Yes.
And I personally think, as someone who's like competed in martial arts for years and done this my whole life, there is something to be said about the very strict, very like locked in, like that deadly type of fighter. That's scary. That's scary enough. But when you have someone that you can't predict because they're so unorthodox in the way that they move and the way that they utilize their environment and the way that she, even in the same way that Deadpool does, using humor and getting inside, like there's a psychological component, whether she realizes it or not, that she's doing to her opponents. And all those factors actually, I think, play into her victory just as much as the scythe. Like Blade is used to fighting, these trained killers, essentially. Also, not for nothing, Buffy does have the experience of every Slayer prior.
Yes.
Which is muscle memory to a degree. So whether she realizes it or not, she's like, ah! And like bouncing around and shit. Her muscle memory, so to speak, is kind of taking over at times. And I think that's another thing that Blade couldn't predict. So I I think his inability to lock down who she was as an opponent was more of his downfall than anything.
Yes, and speaking of that, that's a great transition to the fight itself, because this is where we're going to be just gushing. This is probably when you said Ismahawk went all out, and when you said Death Battle wanted to go all out, like both y'all were on the same wavelength. We must go all out. This is the big one. This is the third one. We haven't had a live action fight. I want to remind our audience, with Ismahawk and Death Battle for 5 years. The last one was season 7, Red Hood versus Winter Soldier, and now it's back. And I've seen a lot of people say, and we're among those people. This is probably the best live action fight of the trilogy that we've gotten.
Yeah, 100%.
Pretty easily. Like not on the other. Okay, that sounds rude. Not that the other one.
No.
I enjoyed the other ones for sure.
No.
It's just this is a whole different league.
I completely agree. This is as much as I love those first 2 fights, and I think they do stand up, and I think they're great.
Yes.
This is a culmination of everybody 5 years later. So that's not 5 years of just sitting around. That's all of us, Mair, myself, Tim, Arhat, Danny, Ismahawk, Death Battle. That's everybody's been working and busting their ass, probably harder in these last 5 years than ever before, because it's coming out of things like COVID and all the strikes and all this stuff. Feeling like, and Death Battle going independent, and Mair and I starting a company. Like, we're all in this place in our lives, and Ismahawk moving on to features and away from YouTube. We're all in this level up stage, so it was inevitable that this one's going to be the best. Like, it's such a showcase of everyone's talents. The fights are great, but the ability to tell a story in a short amount of time.
That is something I wanted to highlight, because I haven't seen a lot of people talk about it. But there was sort of a story in Red Hood versus Winter Soldier that I loved. We're inspiring writers, and we love when you can tell a story. I've always been adamant that if Death Battle is going to have a simulation, as they call it, to visualize how the fight would go, there's nothing wrong with adding a narrative in there. And I think that this narrative is probably the best one of the lot, because the first one, Nightwing Daredevil. It's Nightwing is in an investigation. He needs a case. Matt Murdock picks up the case. The second one is a little better, because it's Winter Soldier going after Red Hood and taking down League of Assassin members, making Red Hood be on his guard. And now here, it's like, okay, it feels like it's out of Blade, but it also feels like it's out of Buffy. Like, you can see where these two were and how they came together in this disco bar, which the name is hilarious.
Disco Pussy.
Yes, Disco Pussy. Let's go.
The amount of effort that went into lighting it certain ways, so that, because on the stage, DJ Ben, the hero of the episode,
oh god, we're gonna talk about that in a sec.
Gets Thanos into oblivion. On that stage, it says in big letters "Disco Pussy," and so the amount of effort that went into both practically on set, like making sure we don't light the word, and so it's just like blaring behind them while they're fighting, and then like in post, like maybe we just add a little shadow here. Maybe
I want to come back to that in a sec.
There's
a really funny thing about that related to like the ending. But obviously we're jumping way too far ahead. No,
it's okay. This opening is amazing.
Actually, so question real quick. When did you all like really start? Okay, so obviously like we had the Kickstarter. One of the stretch goals was, hey, we're gonna team up with Ismahawk again. Obviously somewhere along the line they were like, hey, why don't we do Blade versus Buffy? But when did you all like really start like training and putting everything together? Really.
I would actually like to add on to that question. Was Blade versus Buffy always the matchup you guys had in mind for this, or did you have like some other ideas as well, to toy around with?
Yeah.
Like, maybe we'll
take that one, Mair.
Well, from what I had heard, there were Danny right around about a year ago, maybe 13 months ago. Told Tyler that he was going to go meet with the Death Battle guys in Austin. He was going for a trip. he's gonna go see them, and that they were contemplating doing another live action. And he's like, I'm pitching a couple of ideas. I know they have a couple of ideas.
There was a couple really cool ones that were getting thrown around, but we'll keep them secret just because I think their hope is to still do some of them. Like there was a list of about 5 that we were all kind of pitching around, and some really fun concepts with them. But I think the goal is to still. I mean, we're definitely going to do more. When they do them is TBD. But
yeah,
this will not be the last
one.
This
one.
Yeah.
Let them breathe. Let the team breathe.
Hopefully, we don't have to wait another 5 years.
No kidding. Man, I'm getting too old. I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So, Ismahawk, Tyler and I, last or 2 springs ago, I guess, what was it, 2024? We had, or summertime, we filmed a feature film together with Ismahawk that Ismahawk produced. And they were in post-production editing this feature that was supposed to come out this year. But then they got the call from Death Battle, and they're like, "Hey guys, the movie's on hold. We're gonna have to put all hands on deck for this." So probably next year we'll be able to have the film released. But literally, like as soon as the Death Battle call came in, it was like, "This is what we're focusing on for the next year, like full year." Yeah.
Yeah, from designing the choreo and training to being released. I mean. It really does take that long. You know, there was
and pre-production. Figuring out where everything's gonna be, what the story is, all of that. You know.
Yes, and you guys have said it's been repeated on both Death Battle's podcast and your own individual podcast, which I highly recommend everyone go check out ever forward, especially the new episode with Fiction, where y'all broke it all down. You had 4 days to shoot this episode. And the first day was just committed to the first 3 minutes with Buffy and Blade fighting the vampire horde.
I think day 1 was actually the bathroom.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, no pressure.
The bathroom.
Like straight in the middle of the fight.
Yeah, that was tricky. There was a lot of nerves on that day for me, for sure. But because that's probably the most intricate choreo, right? And it's very quick.
Lots of knife flipping and steak flipping.
Yeah, and it was like my first time seeing the Death Battle guys or meeting them, and I was like, are they gonna be? Why did we hire this freaking Darman actress? Like, what is she doing? I was nervous about that, but as soon as we got a few takes in, I was like, okay, cool, good to go. And the vampire scene was supposed to be shot. I think there was some scheduling conflict that happened.
Okay.
And last minute, they had to do the vampire scene on like the very last day, and that became like a very long day of like 16 hours. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning before. Yeah, because they had to like pile this big intricate thing onto an already fully stacked day as far as scheduling was concerned. But somebody had gotten sick, so we didn't have a choice.
It said something about that.
Yeah.
So we had to. Yeah, that's right. That's the thing, man. You know, you can go in as prepared as humanly possible for any shoot. You know, and everyone can be top of their game, know exactly what they're doing. But that's part of the filmmaking process is being able to adapt on the fly, because there's never in the history of film been a perfect production that went exactly how they said. There was no money issues, no one got sick, there was no this, that, or the other, no drama. It always happens.
Something's gotta go wrong.
It's gonna.
It's like that's life. Like life is always going to throw curveballs your way, even when you've prepared for the curveballs. But it'll still
1,000%
hit you.
1,000%. It's like the bullet flying out of the breathing gun. You know, you think you dodged it, and it comes back and hits you in the leg.
I don't think so.
Exactly. And I do want to say that, you know, there are so many great shots in this episode. Like the choreography is on point. The cinematography makes it look the best it's ever been. And the action is just dialed up to 11. And it usually
it's freaking Blade we're talking about.
You have to go for Blade.
Exactly. And usually in our show we try to dissect the episode's animation, or I guess in this case live action segments, but there are some times where we're kind of just overstimulated and overwhelmed that we can't even just chronologically just go in the order to really talk about how this looks good, that looks good. Like, there are so many moments in this episode that just stand out. It feels like a film festival film.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, it does. No, it does. It looks like a professional short film that is submitted to a film festival that had so much care and passion put into it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Let's at least try to. I know we're probably gonna continue to be bouncing all over the place, but let's at least try to pick like a starting point. So let's start with the vampire scene.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because how the hell did you get that many people on there? Like, I know, like, the death metal crew. Okay, cool. Like, we fly them all in. Ben.
DJ Fangs.
Yeah, DJ Fangs. Let's go.
Oh man.
Ben, if you're watching this, please. I know Death Battle are putting out different marketing stuff every month. Can we please get a DJ Fangs T-shirt?
Let's go.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll buy that shirt.
Same.
But no, we say all that. But we also. My personal favorite is Liam.
Yeah.
He was my favorite too. He's so funny.
Yes.
Right.
And he's so quiet. Like, he's so quiet, but he's just percolating all the time. He's got something that he's thinking about. And then, he was hilarious.
Got that in one take. You got that
Yes.
Really?
And go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, to answer your question, Ismahawk is very, very, very loved, not only by the world at large, but especially in the Vegas film community.
Oh,
and,
yes.
And they have a movie that's bouncing around right now, Action, that was like a love letter to Vegas. They're home team boys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when they call somebody and they're like, hey, do you want to be a part of this? The answer is always yes. So it's super easy, and we have so many talented friends like. Lisa Foyles, pops in. We've got Mari in there. We've got, all these wonderful.
We'll save it.
Mari's the best. So honestly, it was hard. It got to a point where we had to turn some people away because there just wasn't enough space. But everyone knows, everyone's down for the cause. Everyone knows the quality of the project, and also they know what it feels like to be on one of those sets, and it's all love and fun. Nobody gets upset. There's no weird energy. Danny and the team just run such a tight, loving crew that everyone wants to be a part of it.
Yeah. Although I do remember on the live stream they were talking about the horror stories that was putting on those goddamn fangs.
Oh man. I actually had to wear them briefly for the scene, my little cameo at the beginning with Fiction, and I had maybe 3 seconds of screen time that took about 4 hours of fang prep.
Jeez.
Christ.
And was it worth it? No.
No, you know what? No, it actually wasn't. Because he blew my head off. I was just doing my job. I was gonna go. I had big plans that night. I was gonna go home, have a person burger. I was gonna watch some TV. I was gonna get to bed before the sun started to come up. Go to bed early. I was off the next day. Gonna go to the beach. No, this jabroni had to come in and put a hole in my chest.
How dare he?
How dare he?
But no, Mari, dude, that monologue at the beginning, that was crazy.
That was good.
That was, and so many people when the episode went up for they posted early on Premiere, to kind of hey, it's set up, so Premiere will go off at this time. But then, obviously, now that all the credits are in the descriptions now, they're like, okay, now everyone's gonna check this. We're gonna see who did what. We're gonna check who, the music and all that jargon. And then everyone was like, wait, Mari's in this?
Yeah, she was nervous, which was crazy because she did such a good job. Mm-hmm. And I was filming the monitor for her so that she could have some behind the scenes footage, because she was just doing such a great job and it looked so cool. And she afterwards was like, "Do you think that was any good?" And I was like, "Are you kidding me? It was so good." Yeah.
I've known Mari for years. We, Ismahawk, and we did a collab video with Smosh back in the day for Assassin's Creed.
I remember that.
Yeah, so I was one of the soldiers. I was a couple soldiers getting killed by the Smosh team, and they were all great. Joven and Wes and all of them were great. But Mari, you could tell off the bat you could tell she had plans outside of Smosh. You know, she clearly loved her time there and still, keeps in touch with everybody and stuff. But from that point on, I remember she got in real tight with the R-Hat guys, started training really hard, and I have a lot of respect for Mari because she has reinvented herself in so many ways, and she continues to challenge herself and put herself in very vulnerable situations very bravely. And for her to pop in and play like a really eccentric kind of character, but be able to showcase her abilities as an actress and put on and not rely on her face that everyone's used to, but really throw on some crazy makeup and getting this to where you almost, if you're not expecting it, you almost don't recognize her at first. And for someone who the first part of their career very much her brand was her face, I think that's really brave. And she was a little nervous. We all get nervous, doesn't matter how often do this. But kudos to her, because she somehow it shows. She pushed all that aside, and she really shines as a performer in it, and sets the tone for the piece, I think.
Yeah, it was absolutely phenomenally done. I was in awe watching her do it. And every time they did, I don't think they'd have to do many takes. If anything, it was just for angles.
Yeah.
Different angles. But every time she just nailed it. She did so good. And everybody was kind of afterwards, everybody was just quiet.
Yeah.
Is there more?
Yeah, we didn't want to end. We're all engaged. Hey, keep talking.
I just imagine everyone, in everyone's mind, they're just
oh.
Yeah.
What are we
it had us all in a trance, truthfully.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's the sound. But see, that's kind of how the opening comes off. It's we know this is live action, but just seeing that opening, it's oh my god, what am I watching right now? It's I often.
Oh no,
go ahead.
That's the best part of storytelling, though, and
yes.
filmmaking is we want. Yes, we know that it's about the fight. We know that, and that's with all superhero movies and stuff like that. We know that there's going to be the action, right? But it's that giving the audience just a moment to kind of get lost in the world, to where they're not thinking about anything but just enjoying the experience and kind of and becoming a part of it. And some people did just want us to get straight to the fight. We get that, but as filmmakers, we decided, you guys can wait a couple minutes.
Yes, no, you've only been waiting 5 years. A little longer.
And also too, storytelling is storytelling, whether it's through music, whether it's in dialogue, or whether it's in a fight. There is still storytelling. It's not it wouldn't be interesting just to put people in costumes and make them throw hands. At this point, we've all had TikTok and YouTube for years. There's not too many crazy martial arts moves or combinations of moves or things like that you can show that someone hasn't already seen. But what works is not just the fight, but why are they fighting? Get an emotional investment in these two people, and that's why people care about who wins and loses. They're emotionally invested in the person. When Buffy takes a hit, you want those fans to be oh no, and where Blade takes a hit, you want those fans the same thing. Oh no, and that only happens if you spend the time developing a character. And it doesn't mean that you need to have long drawn out dialogue. It can be done sometimes with sometimes it's better to be done with just a look. Such in the way
Blade.
Where Blade doesn't say anything, he looks at Anna, who played her role beautifully. I forget her character's name, but played it beautifully.
I think her name is Anna, actually.
Fantastic!
Yeah.
How do they come up with this? But both of them, they don't share any dialogue in that moment. But it's kind of gut wrenching and it's sad. And then he does it, and in just a look, you have an emotional investment, and then you see the look on Buffy's face right after that, and you see the emotion on her face. Now, when they fight, now you're yo, let's go. And regardless of who you're voting for, you want your person to give you that emotional payoff, you know, in the victory.
Yes,
Yeah.
and to bounce off what you're saying, that is something I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, because we're the type of people here on BrobusCast where we catch things like that. We always go back and we rewatch it and we study and we just take in every little detail that, you know, not many people will. But what I love about that is just, okay, from Buffy's perspective, seeing Blade kill this innocent girl that she was probably sent to rescue, and Blade killing her with the breathing gun. A lot of people don't talk about, and we're going to get into the actors momentarily, because we're going to gush up U2 and Fiction, but Blade's reaction is all over the place, because there's a part of him that's hesitant. He doesn't want to kill this person, but there's the more reasonable side of him that knows, it's like, look, I got to do this. This is just another Monday. It's sad it has to happen, but it has to be done.
Nothing I haven't done before.
Exactly. But Buffy's, from the outside perspective, her show and her comics always paint her more as an empathetic character. When somebody gets bit and it's a horrifying experience, she tries to reach out to them and she tries to save them, very much like a classic superhero. So it's very much an anti-hero and a superhero colliding, and they have different worldviews on how the victim should be saved. And just both of them fighting over that is so much better than just a contrived way of, oh, I don't like you because you're a vampire, the thing I hate. Let me kill you now.
I think that was a lot of people's expectations going into it. Was like, his Blade he's not a full vampire, but he still has, you know, traits.
Yes.
So like, the idea was like Buffy was gonna see that and think, okay, you gotta die now. And then as it turns out, Buffy doesn't bat an eye over that at all.
No, and oh man, and I gotta say, my favorite moment is definitely the bathroom segment. Like the bathroom segment has so many great things, and I don't know if it was intentional, but it feels like when Blade twirls the knife in a spinning motion, part of me subconsciously remembers that as a callback to Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, where I don't know if it's a Tyler thing or if it's a Danny thing, but somebody on the Ismaha crew, I bet, loves a twirling knife fight at close quarters.
That would be a Danny Shepard call.
Okay.
I look, they both look, they turned out so sick, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's really fucking hard to do. It's
really
real hard to do. Well, because there's so many things going into it. Like, one of the things that you wouldn't anticipate is those dummy knives, in Mair's Mair, you poor thing. You were spinning something that's not even meant to be spun. When Buffy spins it in the show, she's got a ring on the back that it's connected to, so she can just let go and it spins.
Oh.
Yes.
Mair has to actually spin this thing that's got like jagged edges. It's like shaved to a point. It's not balanced. Like,
oh my god.
All things should be. So, but doing that at a fast pace to make sure the right point, because you can spin it, but you have to make sure you're sticking them with the pointy end, you know?
Yeah.
And those dummy knives are very light. So, because obviously they're not metal. So you go to spin it and you're like all heated in the moment. You're like, haha, and you spin it and all of a sudden it's flying across the room and you're like, ha. But Danny will tell you too. He's like, I know it's a pain in the ass. He's like, I know it is. God, it looks so cool though.
It does look cool.
That's how he always gets me. It'll be Danny being like, I know, man, I know. And then he'll look at me and he has this shit-eating grin on his face. We've known each other for so long that I can smell it on him. And he'll just look at me and be like,
but it's cool though.
But it would be cool, right? Like, it would be cool.
No. And go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just say, I will say the Blade coming around the corner, spinning the knife, that particular move, that was Fiction. That was all fiction.
Yes.
He didn't tell anybody he was going to do it. He was just like, I think we had gotten the take already, actually. And Fiction was like, hey, Danny, can I get one more? And Danny's like, yeah, for sure, buddy. And so we set up. He goes again, and he just comes around the corner with all that Fiction swagger, just
Yeah.
And then they called cut, and Danny and all of us looked at each other like, oh,
moment. Yeah, no, it is fun to see. So, okay, I don't know if Mair, if you knew this about your character Buffy, but her main stake that she uses is actually called Mr. Pointy. And in my head, seeing Mr. Pointy go against Blade's knife, it's such a cool shot.
That's
I didn't know that.
Funny.
That's hilarious.
I did not know that, but that is absolutely
Yes. It's her main. So her main prime. She used to have just regular stakes, but then along the way, I think it's somewhere between season 1 or season 2, she gets a primary stake. And this is supposed to be a stake that is very special to her. This is the stake that she goes out and kills vamps with. And she, because Buffy is the kind of character where she's just very funny with her naming convention. She calls this stake Mr. Pointy, and it's her favorite stake to use when killing vampires.
Goodbye.
Yeah. Also, the toilet fight was amazing.
Okay. Real quick,
No, I don't.
how the hell did you get the camera over their heads? I got,
Lunatics.
I'm watching this and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. We got it. Like, I mean, in my head, the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, cool. We got an overhead fight. Neat. And then I'm like, as I'm like editing and shit, I'm like, wait, how the hell did they do that?
Well, originally, so we had very, very lucky by happenstance. We ended up going to the action movie premiere for Ismahawk in Vegas a couple months before we filmed this death battle.
Mm-hmm.
And while we were there, just talking to people, hanging out, this guy named Doc comes up to me and was like, you seem like you know a lot of people here. I want to meet the cinematographer for this movie that just premiered. Can you introduce me to Jeremy Lee? Jeremy had just left with his family. I was like, no, but I can introduce you to Danny. He's like, cool. I'm a cinematographer myself. I have a Trinity, which is this crazy camera that like rotates 360. And he was like, he's like, I'm from Austin. I just moved to Vegas. I'm trying to get in with the film scene here. And I hear that Ismahawk's like the people to like know. So who can you introduce me to? So we hung out with Doc all night, and he was hired for the gig that night. And
That's amazing.
Just the coolest dude.
He's such a cool dude. He's so good with action. And originally, I think they were thinking about taking the bathroom stall doors down and putting a camera in there and kind of faking it and doing it, just kind of profile-y. But he was like, nah, dude, I'll take that thing overhead, and there was, the shot was actually cut short because sometimes like in the editing process, as I'm sure you guys know, it just does, sometimes things just drag on too long, and it seems like while you're doing it, it's a good idea, but sometimes it can kind of take you out of it. So there was this scene where that whole sequence is a lot longer, and it goes in a full 360 degree.
Oh wow.
Wow.
So the behind the scenes of it, which we do have a behind the scenes video coming out soon, or Ismahawk does.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank
We're
you.
so excited for it.
Yes, we are. We love them.
Yeah. So hopefully that will be in there, because that was a really, really cool shot. It was just too long. And instead of like dropping, we did a couple different options with the steak and how to lose it into the toilet. But, one of the options was like,
Yes.
Fiction did like an axe kick, and gets it in there like that. Or like there's another one where he like chopped it with his sword. And then there's a shot that we filmed where where Buffy looks straight into camera and goes, crap, and then like runs out of the
Right after it falls in the toilet.
It actually is a Buffy thing she would do.
Yeah.
I think it just wasn't believable that he like by keeping that in there, I think while it was funny and like quippy and stuff, it kills the momentum of her attacking him by the
Yes.
When would he
1000%.
he would have been ready. That would have given too much time for him to be prepared for her, so she needed to get out of the stall quicker. So they did end up cutting that segment, but it was fine. I think the way that it flows is fantastic.
Oh,
but
yes,
that's
absolutely.
Essentially the Trinity and Doc is how that shot got done.
That's cool.
That is
anytime you see any of those cool shots, like when they go head to head with the scythe versus the
Oh.
Adachi.
Yes, no, that's a great moment.
I was gonna ask about that. I was gonna ask, like, again, camera work. How did that happen? Bringing up that camera completely answered that question before I could ever ask it.
Yeah, it was really great on this one. Like I said, everyone pulled out all the stops, and Jeremy Lee, the cinematographer, he usually is the one rocking the camera, like actually in the mix in the trenches, shooting it. He was on the last 2 death battles, and that's kind of how it goes on the features that we shoot too, which typically in in bigger budget studio films and stuff, the director of photography more often than not isn't touching the camera. He's in Video Village with the director, and he's monitoring the the framing and all that kind of stuff, and then speaking to his ACs and everybody and letting them get the shot. But those are big studio budgets. So Jer's always been the guy that's in the mix. It was so funny on day 1 of rolling into this set. I knew that we were flexing because I saw Jeremy, and Jeremy's also like the hardest working human that never gets tired. He is not human. Between how talented he is, his ability to problem solve, and the way he works, he's just not human. So
also, his sense of humor, amazing.
Oh, dude,
amazing.
The amount
of serious guy, but he's so fucking goofy.
So well, you think he's serious, but it's just because he's like always thinking, but he's such a goofball. There's so many, like over the years, so many bloopers, I guarantee, of us on Ismod Production, and I'm doing something in a close-up, and Jared's right there with the camera, and he and I just going, But it was rolling into set on the first day. I knew we were flexing because I looked, and Jared was walking around kind of like he almost looked like he was looking for something to do. And then I realized, oh, Jeremy's got a full camera department. So we had Jeremy Lee, we had Doc, we had Rob Machado, we had multiple, ACs, we had gaffers, we had a full team. And so what that did was that gave us the freedom to have 2 cameras operating almost on every shot, which allows you to get twice the coverage, right? So you could have, and the way the camera team worked so like symbiotic with each other, and like by the end of day 2, they all could like read each other's minds. And so if Doc was on cam A getting the main coverage for that particular shot, you would have Rob or Jer or somebody with the other camera grabbing some B-roll or something, or grabbing another angle. And the thing about that Trinity is it's a body rig, right? So you hook it to your body, and it's got this long, probably, I don't know what, babe, like 6-7 foot pole, essentially.
At least. I mean, and then it comes out another 3 feet on the other side. It's like a levy type. So I had never worked with one before.
Me either.
Obviously worked with like body cams and stuff, but you kind of know your distance. This like swinging swords and having this massive thing following you around like so close to your face, there were a couple times where I was like, I'm gonna break your camera, and Doc was like, you're not, trust me, I know the distance, that way everything's okay, like I got you. And I was like, all right, man, if I break your camera, I can't afford to fix it. So.
Just so you know. It was cool.
Courtesy.
Like, hey, if I do break your camera, just let you know, I told you so.
So everyone knows, just on record. It was cool though, because by the end of it, it gave Doc the ability to rock that Trinity and dance with Mair in Fiction. And because that camera can move in like 3D space and all these crazy stuff, he could follow them and get some of those crazy angles. And the way that they all moved, it was crazy, because you'd see like Rob on one camera and Doc, and they would kind of know the shot, but it's fight choreo. Mair and Fiction do the best they can to stay in their, hit their marks essentially, but you're also trying not to fucking die.
Exactly.
So they're moving all over the place, and the way Rob and Doc or Jer or whoever was rocking camera would just like dance with each other and never cross each other and move up and down. It was art in and of itself, just the way they moved.
Wow. That's crazy.
I will say the final climax is probably where this fight just it goes from 10 to 11 because the past live action climaxes have always been so good. You have the dark scene with Nightwing and Daredevil. You have the Venom beefed up Red Hood going up against Bucky, and now for this, it's like, okay, this is serious because it's literally Scythe versus Adamantium Sword, and that was probably the best it was ever just getting, in my opinion, because it's like, okay, everything's building up, it's building, and now we're dropping. Now this is where it's just even more fun.
Shit's
like
happening here.
Especially when Buffy is working with the handicap, she now has a piece of the breathing gun inside her leg, and she's just trying so hard not to crumble while carrying the scythe, and that's what tricks you. Because I remember Brobuscus even said in his reaction, it's like, oh, why do I have a feeling like that's going to come back and bite Buffy? Because
what I thought was, because they even say it in the episode, the breathing gun's bullets are like maggots, basically. Like they eat their targets from the inside. I was like, okay, so what's gonna happen here? In my mind, I'm like, okay, here's what's gonna happen. They're gonna have their sword fight, or scythe fight in Buffy's case, and somewhere along the line, Buffy's leg is just gonna explode. I'm like, because they wouldn't be doing that. Like, the amount of like franchises I've got into where you have to like pay attention to every single thing, because because they wouldn't be putting so much focus on that if it wasn't going to come back later.
Right. You start looking for those cues.
Yes.
Yeah. We did have when that scene happened, Danny did look at me at one point and he goes, I mean, it's about who wins the fight right now, you know? I can't say what happens to her tomorrow.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, he was like, so, you know, I'm sure there'll be fans who talk about that, but, yeah.
For the purpose of this fight, she's fine. I will say, however, Mair did get sick when we got back home, so...
Oh,
no.
Did I?
I don't know. No, I don't know.
Oh, I was going to say, it was the breathing gun then.
What?
Actually, hold up. I want to talk about the breathing gun real quick.
Because,
So one of the things I would talk about it in other like Discord servers and whatnot. I would be like, okay, so it's a live action fight. One of my favorite like behind the scenes stories from Nightwing versus Daredevil was smashing the window. And in my head I'm just like, this fight's gotta have some story like that. Or some story similar to that, right? And so I mentioned that in a server I'm in with, we were working on a blog, like a research blog together for this match. And one of the guys, one of the researchers for this episode, Speedy, he runs that whole ordeal. But he was on set too, so it was like, I said that in that server, and Speedy was like, oh, you're gonna be real happy then. I'm like, oh, okay. So the fight comes out, all that goes on, and then one day he goes, so to elaborate on this, and they talk about it in the live stream too. So I had heard that they had two props for the breathing gun on set. One was, normal breathing gun. All right, cool. The other was meant to be split in half when you cut it up. I'd heard that you cut through the regular prop by accident.
I did, yes. I did that. And on the first take too, so there.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So I was like, well, I hope that they got that one. So the secondary, so the reason why there was two is there's the one where what is supposed to happen is my axe is supposed to go right in front of the tip of the gun. Okay. And then it's going to cut, the camera's going to cut, and it's going to look like I cut it off. And then what they do is they swap out the gun to one that already has the tip removed. Mm-hmm. and it's got like the insides and everything, and that's where the blood comes out and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's got like a rib cage and stuff in there.
Oh my gosh.
That freaking gun, man, I swear.
Yeah, disgusting.
So Danny was very specific of like, Mair, do not get too close to the tip of the gun. We can't risk you accidentally breaking it because it's very fragile, and we only have this one to get this shot. So, you know, you've got like, you can be like 3 feet ahead of it. We'll cheat the camera angle. It'll look like you're hitting it. So I started to go, and I realized that I got too close. It's like all slow motion in my mind. I realized I had gotten too close to the gun, right? And because I had gotten so close, Doc with the Trinity pushed in really close as well, because from his point of view, I'm, you know, he's just going from where my axe is. He's like, well, and I was like, all right, if I try to cheat forward a few more inches now to save the gun, I'm going to hit the camera. So I'm hitting the gun. So I did, and I don't know how, but it broke perfectly. So that was a very, very lucky take, but the best part of it was Fiction's reaction.
Yeah, that's what Speedy
that
did
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you see a clip of it in the Death Battle podcast we did with the boys a couple days ago, and I'm sure it has to end up in the behind the scenes. But yeah. I wish everyone watching could have been there, just have been a fly on the wall to feel the energy in the room, the dead silence. Because if I remember correctly, too, in that same shot, Mair, you were like, ooh.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I broke it, you know.
I was told not to break it, but I did.
Yeah, and I just see, and I know Danny because I heard like and I was like, yep, oh man, okay. So I was just hoping that they had gotten the shot, or I was like, man, they're gonna. Hopefully it's broken cleanly enough that we could maybe super glue it back together.
That's what I was just gonna say. Just super glue the breathing gun together.
Yeah, but then it was like, okay, but then we have to wait for it to dry, and that was a really stacked day. So, and we were already, I think, running a little behind. So I was like, oh man. But you know, things happen. But the behind the scenes was very funny because it's just like I have this weird reaction of like, oops, I did a no.
You know what though? I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that's the shot they end up using because you did it so perfectly. Like, you hit it on the money.
It was the only shot that they got.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, so they had to, but it worked. It worked.
It was perfect.
Sure as worked.
Well,
You got real method with it.
Yes, exactly. And then the climax. So, okay, the climax really is probably the most... Because when Death Battle does these fights, we always, in our minds, we come to a conclusion that it's going to go one way or the other. There's rarely ever a moment where a fight feels like it's dead even between the two characters. And I feel like this climax is just the pinnacle of that, where because Buffy is operating with the stab wound to the pectoral muscle here, she's got a piece of the breathing gun in her leg. Like, you feel like, okay, she's literally fighting an uphill battle just to get some kind of advantage here. But this was literally the most back and forth fight I think we've ever seen. Like, there's no fake out. There's no like, oh no, come on. It feels like somebody's got to turn this around. It really feels like it's going to come down to the wire on who wins. And I got to say, I know a lot of people, I don't know if you guys have seen the comments. You've said you've seen the comments, but I don't know if you've seen the particular reactions to that moment where you get such a great raw reaction where Buffy is literally now cut in the hamstring, and she's just going through so much damage, and there's that great slow-mo bit where Blade is about to kill her. I don't know if you guys have heard or seen the reactions where everyone's like, why is Blade taking so long to kill her? Come on, kill her!
Don't give her a chance.
Yeah, stop playing with your food!
Honestly, I want to do, I think we're going to do it for our channel. I'm gonna get a compilation of all of the reactions that people have filmed online.
Oh yes.
And like
nice.
There's so many of that part that are so funny, and they're like, "Stop horror farming, Blade!"
Yes, there were literally some of my friends were like, he would not be doing this. He would have just killed her right then and there. He wouldn't be wiping the blood off his sword.
But you had to draw it out though, because you got to give a moment for the for the scythe to start glowing.
Yes, exactly.
It was also it's like movie slow-mo, right? It probably in real time took like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Yes, because okay, going back to what you said, Mair, where you had your own vision on how this was going. To me, that's kind of what I relate to this. It's like that slow-mo segment is probably going in super fast motion from Buffy's perspective, that she's literally having to draw on the Slayer avatar experience to get this victory. And again, it's funny how a lot of people interpret that as, oh no, Blade is intentionally moving at a snail's pace just to kill this woman. But no, I mean, in reality, it's like, it's probably going in super motion that Buffy is just like, all right, time to lock in and deliver the final blow.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I don't know. It can look like that. I totally get it, and I get the frustration, especially for those rooting for Blade. And it can appear that way in movies, but I don't know if you've ever had this happen in real life. But when you were in either a life or death situation or a very high stress situation,
yes,
time slows down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you can see everything before you can react to it, and you can comprehend, and you have 1,000 thoughts going through your mind before being able to like even move a pinky.
Yes.
Right.
But then she is, superhuman, and she gets this burst from her ancestors at that point where it's like, okay, that her adrenaline is a different type of adrenaline, and that happens. So that's what gives her the strength to like get up, because I think in that moment she's accepting like, is this what's fucking happening, or like, am I, like, God fucking damn it, I'm not about to get my head chopped off right now. Fuck this,
That is something Buffy would say.
Yeah. It's the movie slow-mo is like that. It does happen in real life, though. I've experienced it several times. Where
Oh
it's
yeah,
like,
definitely.
Yeah, no, I think I've only, so to kind of branch off what you're talking about, I have experienced something like that. It was around this time last year that I was in my first car accident, and I can remember the details like to the wire, and I remember everything feeling like it went in slow-mo before reality just clicked, and then it happened, and I'm like, that was so scary. And again, I just find it I find it very funny that a lot of people, again, because this is how invested they are. It goes back to what Tyler said. It's like people are so invested in Blade winning that they're like, oh, they think he's just screwing around, but it's like, no, he probably is getting ready to kill her in a super fast motion, because they established that these characters can move faster than we can perceive. So,
right.
But Buffy is just able to just barely get that last hit. And I gotta say, like, I don't know if you knew anything about the criticisms of the past two, where people always said that these live action fights are amazing, but I really would like just a death that delivers a solid punch to it. Yeah. Especially Red Hood versus Winter Soldier, where you have that super that fast moment where you pinch your Red Hood skull, and it's like, man, there was so much buildup, and then for it to just come out of nowhere, like in a super fast motion, like you just squished a grape in your hand.
Why didn't I do that earlier? I could have saved myself a lot of headache.
Exactly. Yes. No. I mean, maybe you were just looking for some exercise.
Yeah, maybe so.
But no, that's what I was really looking forward to this one. I'm like, okay, this is Buffy and Blade. This has got to end in a head decapitation. And I grew up watching horror movies from Sam Raimi, from Nightmare Friday. When you do a live action fight that involves two horror supernatural adjacent people, you gotta have a head decapitation. You got it. No, and man, it surprised me, because it wasn't just a head decapitation. You got to stake Blade through the heart. and then decapitate him. Like, how did that feel?
Well, it just was the moves that it's funny learning, fight choreo and stuff. You can't just do something just to do it. It's like your body goes one way and you can't really fight against it. So the way fighting works is like you gotta find the best move that works with where your body's going at that point in time, so you're not fighting against yourself. And the most stabilizing thing was to stake him, but he could potentially regenerate from that. So then when you yank it out, the way your body moves is to kind of go in this circular motion. So it only made sense to chop his head off, truthfully. Like, that was just going with the flow of things.
Yeah.
So.
No, yeah, but it's such a badass victory moment, I don't know. I know. So you've seen the reactions. Like, what are your? So Buffy went through this hellish battle, probably one of her top 10 most intense ones. And you have a moment where, it's kind of just meandering a little bit, but then all of a sudden Buffy's theme kicks in, and then you end it with a pun. Like, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, is she going to say you just got slayed? But then when you say, it looks like you got ahead of yourself, I'm like, okay, just your performance looks like that must have been so satisfying to just come out not only knowing your character was going to win, but they were also going to do a pun as well. Like, did you have any thoughts on that? Or maybe if you were writing the episode, would you have come up with other different puns? Like maybe I could have said something else.
That's funny. I like the "you just got slayed," but the fact that his head got chopped off, and that was Liam, I believe, was the one who wrote that. And it was very like, look, I think I might have, I don't know what it was, but like, there was a couple of different deliveries that I had given to Danny, and he's like, we need you to do the pause. We need you to, like, you just got ahead of yourself. So, like, it's like, we need it for the cheese. Like, we have to have that cheese right there. It's very important. I was like, okay, cool. So I thought it was fun.
It's like a wink to the
funny.
audience.
It is!
Yeah. I mean, he was mad disrespectful. We spent a lot. I think my favorite part of the reactions is when people catch on to the glasses, like after the first kick. They're like, what's going on with the fucking glasses?
Yes.
Why do they keep showing us the glasses? And then at the end being like, God, that was disrespectful.
Dude, my reaction, I was like, you better not break those damn things.
No, honestly, when I was watching it, I thought it was like gonna set up for a trap. Like, I don't know, like Blind's blade with sunlight or something. Honestly, I like what you guys did with it a lot better, because
that's clever.
Just a lot more satisfying. I don't know. I don't know.
At the end of the day, it's still a death battle. You need it's like any fighting game you've ever played. There's always like the victory chant at the end. The combat gotta have their zinger at the end, and so you gotta get that last little thing in there,
Yes, absolutely. And it was like, this was such an amazing thing to watch. But I think what's even more amazing, transitioning over to the actors section now, if that's okay with my co-host. So Mair, you and Tyler have been doing a lot of behind the scenes and appearing on podcasts, but one thing I haven't heard from you is what was it like getting into Buffy's character? Did you grow up watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer? Were you familiar with this role?
I did. Yeah. I liked like Charmed and stuff, and Buffy, I don't know which one came on first. I think maybe Charmed came on before Buffy. It was like after school. I would watch it. I really liked is it late 80s or early 90s, the Christy Swanson?
Late 90s. So the movie came out in 97, which
Did it really?
Yes, 97. Yes, no, 97. And what's funny about that is Joss Whedon worked on that movie. He wrote the script, and I can't remember why in my head that he recasted with Sarah Michelle Gellar, but And then 99, that's when the series came out.
Okay, so that was back to back.
Yes,
for whatever reason, I thought it was an 80s film, but I actually had watched it relatively recently, within the past 4 years or something, and since not having watched it since I was a kid, and I remember just being like, God, this is so fun. Like, I just love this character, and she's so like I loved it. For this, we started going back and watching a bit of Buffy, and I kind of realized, like, I know kind of the lore to a certain extent. I'm not going to get through the entire series, and I'm sure the Death Battle guys are going to give me more on the lore than I can.
Yes, you're not going to sit down and tell Tyler. So Tyler, I bought all 128 Buffy the Vampire Slayer novels. I'm going to read them, and I want you to help me so I can better understand this character.
We're a team. If that was the move, that was the move. But I will say, when we were watching it, Mair's super dedicated in everything she does. It's really funny to watch. Not funny, but it's cool to watch her work, because when she locks on to something, she locks on hard. And so when it came to Buffy, we did our research and we watched some stuff, and it was fun to revisit that. But I distinctly remember we were probably about halfway through season 1, and I remember you looking at me and being like, okay, I understand the world and everything, but I don't want to watch too much, because the last thing I would want to do as a performer is just try to do a Sarah Michelle Gellar impression. And the cool thing about being an actor is not to be a professional impersonator, but how do you take a character that and bring yourself to it, And so what are some things that, I remember us sitting and talking about it, and it's like, well, what are some things that they share? One of the biggest things, truthfully, is the sense of humor. Like, Mair's one of the quickest, funniest people I know, and Buffy has that kind of quip. I think that's how she navigates trauma, is joking and adding some levity to things.
Yes.
You find these character traits that you can latch onto, but I remember being just really inspired by that, because she was like, I understand the world, I can do the fans justice, but now I'm Buffy. I'm gonna bring my version of Buffy while still being conscious of the character.
Yes, no, because Buffy. So Joss Whedon kind of essentially created a female Spider-Man, because that's kind of how Buffy is. She has a huge responsibility that is thrust on her, and she has to sacrifice her normalcy for a dedication to saving the world. And when she fights, she makes people think she's not taking it seriously, but in reality she is. She's just trying to disarm you mentally before she can disarm you physically. And
1000%.
Yeah, and that is another question. Like, Mair, when you were watching the series, when you guys were doing research, did anything in your mind tell you that, okay, what can I do that Sarah didn't? Because Sarah Michelle Gellar is, for all intents and purposes, Buffy. But when you watched the series, like, was there anything that inspired you to be like, okay, I love what Sarah did here, but now maybe I can do something with this character in a different way, like to kind of distinguish your Buffy from Sarah's Buffy, in a sense?
Absolutely. Well, no matter what, that was always going to happen, because unless, so Sarah's playing a character, and she's, had such a long running go of it, that people associate her with that character. But Buffy in itself is a different person from Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? Yes. So again, it was like, okay, I don't want to do an impersonation of an actor playing a character, right?
Yes.
So no matter what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and base it off of the character itself and not necessarily the mannerisms that the actor does. But she was also in one, it was a different time, so the series is a little bit, dated.
Yes.
To, and also she was in the confines of CW, right? It's a CW show.
No, it was it was a WB. It was primarily a WB show, but but it's funny you say that because a lot of the CW isms, as I call it, can be traced back to Buffy the Vampire Slayer, because that show kind of created what we think of when it comes to a CW show. It invented a whole new generation of TV writing cliches that are still being used today.
I definitely.
That all traces back to Buffy.
Yes.
Yeah, I had it in my head. It was CW. My bad.
No, it feels like it though.
It does. It feels very like that. So you're kind of in the confines of like what they're allowed to do and show on those shows.
Yes.
And which had created this incredible world, but this is a different situation. This is Death Battle, so it's a different situation. It's going to be a little bit darker, a little bit more intense. She's fighting for her life against Blade, so it's a different scenario, and it's going to be filmed differently, just like the movie. Very, very different vibe from the television show.
Very much,
yeah.
Very, very different versions of Buffy. So yeah, no matter it was definitely gonna be different. But I was like, okay, so how would the character act in this scenario? We know what she's gonna be like when she's got all of her friends. We know that world. What is it when she's all alone against Blade in an empty nightclub?
Yes.
I said it
that's
last.
what we get to.
I said it last episode when we were talking about all the lead up to this one. It's like, well, we're doing a live action fight with 2 live action characters, or live action adjacent in Blade's case, and it's like you're not gonna get those original actors, so like it's naturally just gonna be different. It's like I know, crazy, right?
Yeah.
These are not the actors you're familiar with. These are not the actors you know as these characters. So it's like, well, at that point, you might as well just be you're being the character, not the actor. Like Fiction, we'll be gassing him up in a second. But like he's being Blade, he's not being Wesley Snipes.
Correct. Yeah.
You're being Buffy, you're not being Sarah Michelle Gellar. So.
Yeah, and sometimes people have a hard time separating when there's someone that's so iconic as that character, and if there's only been, in Blade's case, there's only been one live action adaptation, so it's kind of hard, even if you know how it's done, it's still kind of hard to separate, sometimes.
Yeah.
And but I think if you're really a fan of the characters, like, you kind of get excited for a new iteration of them. It adds new life, to the character.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I agree. And
Yeah.
I want to say, just to gas you up real quick, Mair, your performance as Buffy was fantastic. Again, I had Sarah's performance was very much in my mind, but when we have live action actors, like Brobuscus said, we're not judging them based off of the impressions they're doing of the actors. We're judging them based off of their own interpretations of these characters. And you immediately sold Buffy to me, because it's like, okay. And maybe that's just because the photographer, when y'all were posting these great behind the scenes photos that should be posters on somebody's wall.
Yeah, shout out Rob Machado.
Yes, and when I saw your photo and Fictions, I'm like, that's Buffy and Blade.
Yeah, those
like,
promotional posters? Yeah, those
yes, no, because and then in the fight itself, there was a lot of moments between you and Fiction where you're doing a lot of facial acting that not a lot of people picked up on, especially in going back to the bathroom scene when you have that knife in your muscle region, and you are just using all of your strength to get it out, and then Blade's like, wait, what the hell is going on? This is not normal. You have such great moments where, from Buffy's dialogue to the facial expressions, that you're really selling this character to a new audience that probably, unfortunately, hasn't seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So you are now their first Buffy, in a sense.
That's wild to think about. That's cool. For me, truthfully, it will always be Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yes,
just
of course.
because it's, that's what I grew up with. But, thank you. Like, just because someone has superhuman strength doesn't mean they don't feel things, you know?
Oh, yes.
So
Yeah.
there is this with certain superheroes, they do have like this kind of persona of like that didn't hurt me or blah blah, like just like unfazed, you know, and they're
Yes.
very stone faced, and that's a choice, you know. But Buffy is, even, you know, she's superhuman, but she's human, and
Yes.
that's her. That's like kind of her biggest strength, in my opinion, is being able to really feel and have this, you know, human experience that's also kind of being taken away from her as well, because she's got this, you know, responsibility. But yeah, so anything that happens, like, just because she's able to fight against it doesn't mean, or overcome it, doesn't mean that she didn't feel it. And I didn't think that it would be right to just kind of like, oh, Blade's gonna fuck her up and she's just gonna be like, whatever, man. You know, I think, no, she feels it. She feels it, you know?
Yeah, no,
But she's a badass and she's gonna keep fighting. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Especially when there are moments where you're getting the most hurt. Like, your character is getting more scraped up than Blade. Blade has barely taken any scratches, and especially when you have to sell those screams, like that, just those in pain screams. It really it also just makes people want to root for Buffy, because it's like, I mean, look, this guy with the sick ore farming is kicking her ass and putting her on the back foot. She's kind of the underdog in this. That you just root for Buffy.
Yeah, well, I wanted that. I wanted you to root for her. I wanted her to feel the pain. Danny was also very adamant about that. He was like, man, and we did quite a few different takes on the scream. I think I went a little overboard a couple of times. We found a nice in the middle point that they were using. But he was like, I really want the audience to, one, those rooting for Blade, I want them to think for a moment that this is where he wins. And those rooting for you, I want them to be heartbroken.
Yes.
So that was the key selling point right there. It wasn't just like, oh, Buffy gets stabbed, whatever. Like, no, that's the best part of an underdog story, is like they came back up. You know, like the odds were stacked against them. It was, you know, like that last second type of thing is like, okay, what do you do when you're under that much pressure, when, like, you know, when everything's against you, when everything seems hopeless, what do you do? That's what makes a real hero, is how they react in those moments and handle those situations. So obviously a little bit of foreshadowing there when when the Blade didn't get her, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, to kind of what you're saying is it goes well with a famous quote by a famous movie Italian boxer. You know, it ain't over till it's over.
Don't you be sitting there quoting my favorite movie of all time.
Like, dude, it was over. No, next live action death battle has to be Rocky Balboa versus the Karate Kid.
Bro, are you trying to make a grown man cry? Because that's how you make a grown man cry.
And again, it's since Tyler can do a better Stallone voice than I can. It's like, there's your Rocky Balboa, and Mair can have a great cameo as Yo Adrian. I did it.
It's a death battle.
Can I tell you, what is the character? So it really is his favorite character.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, and he, we have this ongoing joke of like, we want to do this sketch series where he's an actor who thinks that a Rocky impersonation is acting, so that every audition that he goes to, he just does Rocky.
Just a
like,
version
so
of Rocky.
it's like he's going to like for a hemorrhoid commercial he's auditioning for, and it's like, you know?
Oh my goodness.
I hadn't been able to sit down for weeks, Adrian.
Okay, so that's actually a great segue that I'm doing, because no. So how do we go? Okay, Tyler, since you've been the main co-star of the past two episodes, it only seemed right that you yourself would have to be in this, and it sucks your character is only on screen for so long, because I'm like, okay, Tyler's here. Tyler's got to do something cool, right? And it's like to really set up like how badass our one of our other co-protagonists is. I don't know if this was intentional on Danny's part or Liam's part, but just the idea that, okay, we have Tyler, he's back, he's the guy who has been in the live action fights. Here he is. He's going to be the first victim of Blade.
I mean, you're right.
They can't do one without you, I guess.
Yeah, no.
I will say I'm now 2 for 1 on deaths versus victory in a death battle. I've died twice. And I gotta be honest, I don't like them numbers. So we're gonna have to adjust.
Those numbers got to go back up. And also too, you look sick as hell in that silver jacket,
bro. You want to know something? And Mair could even she can back this up. I've had that silver jacket for no lie, like I don't know, 10 plus years. I've never worn it in anything. I have looked for excuses in almost everything I've ever worked on. Be like, man, it'd be cool if this guy was wearing a silver jacket, wouldn't it? Shut down every time. And then Danny comes at me with a club scene, and I say, hey, you know, it'd be cool in this club scene, a silver jacket. And he goes, yeah, silver jacket. Yes. So I think it's really the star of my performance in this.
It is, you know, like, look, I mean, that silver jacket was too young to die.
Dude, it's sitting over there somewhere. That was my souvenir I took home from the shoot, my own jacket.
Yes. Okay, so we've been kind of talking about him in teases here and there, but it's like, so okay, we have the coolest Blade to date, and with fiction. Holy crap! I like Brobuscus and I said this in our last episode. Like, Mair was going to lock in with the performances, Buffy, but it really was. I think everybody was going to agree that fiction as Blade was the MVP of the fight.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah. I mean,
100%. Holy shit, dude.
Yeah.
I know you haven't finished watching our podcast episode with him, but.
Oh, I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Like, that was when we were like training together. Our sessions were really like, as you know, kind of like we just focused in mainly on what we needed to do. When we're working, and there was like we goofed off and like had fun and kind of got to know each other. But our sit down was our first time of like really getting to know fiction.
Yeah.
And he's a real life superhero. Like,
yes,
he actually is one.
I literally called like last episode. I literally called him Blade IRL.
Yeah.
And just a solid human, man. It's so frustrating. He's so handsome. He can do so many things so very, very well. He's also very kind, intelligent, very philosophical. He frustrates me. Can't stand the guy.
Look. To your defense, you're also those things. You are also
okay, that's fine. I guess I feel better then.
Yeah.
I'll Venmo you $20 for saying that.
Yeah, thank you. I'm only saying that because to be fair, I was exposed to you first before fiction, and I've been a fan of. I've been aware of your work since all the way back to Dragon Ball Z Light of Hope. So if you were to ask me which I like better between Tyler or fiction, of course I'm going to go Tyler.
Damn right. You hear that, internet? Damn right. Fiction, we've joked about it. I told Fiction, I was like, this only means like you and I got to do one now. We've got to throw down.
Yes.
Maybe in the future.
I saw y'all collaborating. Y'all were putting down some collaboration ideas.
We got some things in the boiler room.
That suits idea. Please do it.
Oh, come on. Man.
If you do a Kickstarter, I will back that. I promise.
He's really cool because he does so many like.
Yes.
He does so many influencer collaborations. Like he works with influencers all the time, and those are a very particular type of human, you know?
Oh yeah.
But he's not like that. Like he doesn't think kind of the way or behave the way most influencers on his level behave. He is the most like down to earth, cool, like he's just like, yeah, I just like doing this, like it's not about, he gets the views, he gets the hits, he gets the accolades, he gets to go to the special events, he gets all of that, but that's not why he does it in any way, shape, or form. And it's very evident in talking to him and working with him, and it's just so cool to see, because that's so rare.
Yeah.
No.
And he's a hell of a teammate too.
Oh, God.
It would have been very easy for him to make it the fiction show. And, and a lot of people would have loved it, and he would have done his fiction thing, and he would have been great. But what's great about him and Mair, same in Mair's corner, Mair comes with her own massive fan base, and it would have been very easy for either of them to make it the them show. And there wasn't a fraction of a second where that even entered a thought for anybody. From the moment the two of them met to every single day on set, the collaboration between those two, when you're, it's one thing to be collaborative on a set, and that's a monumental task in and of itself, and so important. But to go even deeper, when it comes to you and your co-star, especially a dance partner in something like a fight scene, you have to have so much trust in that other person who you probably don't know that well, truthfully. And you have to trust them not only to deliver a performance that helps elevate the story and elevate your performance and pull the best out of you. You have to quite literally trust them with your safety. And it wasn't even with Tim and I, we had some gunplay, but at a distance. We did a little bit of a night thing, but that was all hand to hand. Same with the Nightwing fight. With this one, it's not enough that they're just throwing punches. They're fighting with a crazy variety of weapons, and dummy weapons or not, you can still hurt somebody.
Oh yeah.
And the control and the restraint on both their ends, and the way that they communicated in between shots. Hey, you all good here? Did I hurt you here? Is there anything you'd like me to do better? Hey, for if Mair got stuck on a move and was like, the choreo just doesn't feel right. Before I could even get over there to give an adjustment, Fiction and her were already working together, being like, well, he'd be like, hey, watch my feet. And he would do the steps with her, and then she'd be like, okay, cool. And she'd be like, well, what if I step this way? He's like, oh, that's great. Or if there was an acting beat, that someone got stuck on, Mair would lean in and be like, hey, man, think of this, or try this, or, here's what it's looking like. Here's what you should do. And the way they did that just as a team was just so cool to see. And that's why they dance so well. And that's why there's not this massive talent gap between the two operating, because if there were, then the fight...
There is a massive talent gap. We just, for that brief moment in time on camera, we're able to bridge it.
Well, you know what I mean? Yes. Different, very talented in different ways. But in the fight, there isn't a moment where you're like, oh, I can't believe this, he's holding back. No, dude, Fiction and Mair, they found that, it's like in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
When we're getting ready to do the fusion dance, albeit Vegeta, Goku, or Trunks and Goten, whoever it may be, if their power levels aren't perfectly synchronized before they touch tips ever so gingerly, the fusion will not work. And it's very similar in this case.
Okay, now I'm sorry. I'm just there's a flood of live action fights I can think of but it would be so cool, since you just now brought that up. It would be so cool if their next live action fight was involving Android 17, and they're like, we need an Android 17 actor, and then Danny's like, I know an Android 17 actor.
I am growing my hair back out.
There you go.
For no particular reason.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. But no, and you did mention that in the episode. It's like Fiction and Mair were so patient with each other too. Like the fact that y'all were helping each other, y'all were communicating. It was just so cool. And Fiction seems like he's a really chill guy. But I think we're all curious. Like, what was it like seeing him? It's got to be like those moments where when you see an actor come out as Superman or Batman, when Fiction came out as Blade, like he had the outfit on, the swords. Was there a moment that you guys and even the crew were like, "Oh my God, that's Blade. We're gonna play with Blade today"?
Every time he walked out.
Yeah.
Every time he walked out. But something you guys should know about Fiction.
Yeah.
He doesn't go anywhere in real life without a katana. or two.
This
I
is true.
believe
Somehow I believe that.
Okay.
So we're used to seeing fiction with swords.
Yeah.
1000%.
He just always has them with him.
Yeah.
And he's just always twirling a sword. So we were used to that aspect, but definitely seeing him in like the full costume was like, oh hell yeah, dude, you look sick. Like this is
Yeah.
I don't know I understand it because Wesley Snipes is so like ingrained in people's heads.
Yes.
The character, but he like the having the braids thing didn't bother me. None of it was like I was just like this is Blade, like
Yeah.
and maybe it's because I was so close to it, but gosh, he was so good. He's so good. And then once again, that goes back to he was not doing a Wesley Snipes impersonation.
No.
I was about to say, I know a lot of people commented on the voice as well.
Yes, no, there were some people who were turned off by his voice, but once again,
I mean,
mind it.
no, I don't either. But like that is fair because like imagine like Spawn
Oh,
came
yeah.
out and he sounded like that. Like
Well, did you guys see Fiction's reaction video to that?
I did. Yes.
yes.
He's got such a good sense of humor about it, and we talked about it too. He's like, God, my voice, and that is something to be said for acting. When you have to be vocal, that was something that he hadn't really done as much of. Where it's like you are putting on this character like superhero voice.
Yeah.
And none of us thought about it in the moment. Like it didn't bother any of us while filming. So I guess we didn't really think that it was going to be a thing that fans latched onto. Like I get it. If I had like a super deep voice or something like that, then people would probably be like, that's not Buffy. That's what? No. I get it, but it didn't take me out of the moment the way I think so. But again, if you're looking for like a very specific thing, and that is very much what you're expecting, then I can understand why it would throw a couple of people off. But we all laughed about it. He was like, man. God, he's like I'm like Baby Blade. He was like my favorite comment that I saw is somebody was like, that ain't Blade, that's butter knife.
Oh my goodness.
He does. He looks like a young Blade, but it's like that's kind of the cool thing about it because again, it's vampire rules and it's Marvel rules. So for all we know, he probably always looked like that. That's my kind of headcanon is like, okay, maybe there's the reason he sounds like that is probably because he was bitten real young. And, again, vampires don't age. So it's like maybe he's just always cursed for all of eternity to have that baby face look. But he makes it work.
Oh, poor guy.
No.
What's your skincare routine?
Exactly. No, but the voice was fine for me, like especially because
it wasn't like it's still a good performance no matter what. It just slightly different to what everyone's used to.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
like by itself, it's a good performance. So.
He did deliver the lines. Like I can imagine Danny's probably got so many takes of him doing the "some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill" line. Like that must have had more than one take to find the right one.
I thought I will take. I don't care what anyone says. I'm taking credit for that line. I fought so hard to get that line in there. I was like, you cannot put
in the script.
No,
really?
No. I'm sure they. I mean, of course they discussed it prior. How do you talk about it or not when you're writing? I promise you, Liam and them discussed it. But Danny and I kept going back and forth. And Danny was like, "Yeah, man," but like, you can't put Blade on screen and him not talk about the ice skating uphill.
Yes,
it's too iconic.
And then, of course, as soon as we do that, we're like, well, then we got to get but you out your damn mind,
motherfucker, you out your damn mind.
You got to do it.
Originally in the script, we edited this before we even got into filming. But originally, she throws holy water at him, like she's
really.
Holy water at him. It hits him in the face, and he's like, "You out your damn mind."
I mean. Yeah, it did seem weird, but then again, I think the take with Buffy hitting him so hard in the face that his iconic sunglasses come off. It's like, that feels like it's a more appropriate use of that line, because it's like, okay, it's his shades, man. You don't fuck with his shades.
The Oakleys, bro.
Yeah, no, they're literally part of his character, but
it's
no.
more of like a reaction of like, she finally actually like hit him, you know? She's not offensive more of this time. And he's like, what? Listen, little girl, what do you think you're doing here?
Yeah, no, it's like, I was just doing my job, and here you are fucking things up for me. No, and he did, like, going back to the very opening. It's like he did such a great job with the choreography of like fighting those vampires, and then getting to do a suplex on the queen vampire through a table, which I had just showed these guys. I just showed Brobuscus and ZDogg the first 2 Blade movies, because they had not seen them before.
So good.
Yes, no. Because if there were references, I wanted them to get those references, and I was not expecting Blade 2 references to be in there.
Come on.
Because especially the suplex, like
that was Danny. That was a Danny call, and neither Fiction nor Aaron, who was the stunt double in that, neither of them have done a WWE style suplex. And
really?
I think most people probably haven't.
No.
However, I happen to be oddly qualified in such a suplex.
And yes, that's true.
You're a suplex connoisseur, if you will.
If you will. Yes. Tim Neff and I, we work together on so many things. He's kind of my partner in all this. We had done a League of Legends fight a couple years ago.
Really?
Live action. It was a promo for Dash and oh my gosh, why am I forgetting the other guy's name? I suck. Kobe, Dash and Kobe. It was for Riot Games, and it was this fun little like Family Guy versus the Chicken style fight of Dash and Kobe fighting all over Riot Games Studios, right? And we had a breakaway table, and I jokingly said to the coordinator, I was like, "Wouldn't it be funny if I got suplexed through that table?" And the coordinator was like, "Yeah, that would be funny." Cut to the next day, he's like, "Hey, so you're gonna get suplexed through that table?" and I hadn't really it's one of those things you say without thinking a whole lot through it. Yeah. So we do the suplex quite a few times, and you know, and it sucks. And so when Danny was talking about doing it with this, I'm like, all right, man, well, it's going to be kind of a little tricky, because, you know, that table's really low to the ground. And when you do these sort of stunts, you know, believe it or not, those breakaway pieces of furniture, you actually want them there because they actually cushion your fall. They slow you down, so you're not hitting full tilt just straight to the concrete. But also, those things are made out of balsa wood, so they essentially explode when you hit them. They're like cardboard, essentially.
Oh, wow.
So they're not going to save you much. But to Fiction and Aaron's credit, man, when like I said, we had 2 days in Vegas for Mair and Fiction to get out to Vegas and train with the RHAP boys and learn the choreo for this giant vampire fight. And we were so crunched on time that it became a thing where, while Mair was off with half the team working on her choreography, the other half was split over here. So Fiction and Aaron and I went, and I think they did 2 takes onto a crash mat doing the suplex. And I gave them some pointers here, because there's little like technique things you can do to protect yourself and all that. I gave them like, we only had time to rehearse it like maybe twice. And then it was on the day. And that was one of the final shots we got. Wow. For a multitude of reasons. One of them being, if, you know, shit went sideways and someone did get hurt, at least it's the last shot.
Softens it a little.
Cool. It looked cool, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's not like my dumbass tearing my own rotator cuff on the first day of Winter Soldier Red Hood.
Oh my gosh.
But they nailed it. They got it obviously in one take, because we only had the one table, and they got up. They full sent it to the floor, and it looks great. But they were, it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't, and that's the other thing too. It's like Fiction makes those he makes swordplay look almost secondary to him. Like, he's a monster with the swords and the choreography that comes with it. It almost feels like he has done. It feels like he was an assassin, and he's just not telling us.
Yeah, I would believe it. I would believe it for sure.
I would never in a million years want to get into a fight with that man ever. Like ever.
No.
I will. Let's go.
Okay.
No swords allowed.
Yes, exactly. That's a handicap. No
That's
swords.
That's the handicap. He's not allowed to hold anything sharp.
Right? No.
Yes.
Yeah, no, good.
Yeah, no, and we discussed this because when we had the preview to go off of, I said this. I'm like, man, the way he just took off that coat. I'm like, if I was a vampire and I saw him take off his coat like that and he was just gonna throw it at me, I'd be like, stop.
You went times.
Yeah, just kill. Look, I'll kill myself. You don't need to kill me. Like, look, man, I'm sorry. I didn't respect your game, so I'm just gonna kill myself.
Well, he has that,
so make it easier for you.
he's got that dancer background. I mean,
He
I say
does.
background. You know, he won So You Think You Can Dance. You know, he's just like when it comes to understanding his body movement, he just fucking gets it. It's so crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, and
He does, but I do flowers where flowers are due though. You know, you've got a dance background as well, and that's really why you guys were able to, like, the choreo that you did is not easy choreography for anybody. It wouldn't have been easy for Tim and I to do.
Yeah.
And especially things with, like, there's a whole sequence in there where you're doing legitimate Wing Chun, you know, and that's one of my favorite sequences. It's a quick moment in the fight, but you know, you're doing that and you're swapping between that and all this other stuff, the Jackie Chan thing, and then weapons and all of that.
Yeah.
The body awareness that you guys both have, and the way that you were able to pick things up and sense the camera, and just all that comes from that sort of thing that you guys both share.
well, yeah, I guess it does come from body awareness. For me, it definitely took a lot of training.
Sure.
But for him, he just and he does do this full time. Like when he's not if he's not editing a video or going to a Comic-Con, he's filming content with swords and dancing and fighting, and that's what he does all day long. He's for him, like, he just picks it up so quickly. And is so incredibly patient with the fact that I didn't. And you know, when I first started, we were putting the choreo together, I didn't really know I wasn't as confident in my movement and my body and stuff. So a lot of my movements, it doesn't look like what you see now on camera or the final product. Didn't look anything like that.
Right.
But him having that understanding of like the process was so great, because I was worried that he was going to be like looking at me like, you freaking idiot, you know. And there was, you know, which I wouldn't blame him for saying it, you know, or thinking it, but he didn't. He was very like, okay, I understand why you think that, but if you actually do it like that, like, he just was very like understanding of the whole thing, and there was never any judgment, which was so cool. But that's that whole crew. That whole Ismahawk team, anybody that they're involved in. And also, can we just give props to the Death Battle guys? Those are some of the coolest guys I have ever met in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Just awesome.
Yes, we've interacted with them a couple of times. They're nothing but nice. They're very outgoing. They love the fans. Like, you would think, since the fact that they've been around for almost two decades, that they would have that kind of ego, and they would just be, you know, drinking their own Kool-Aid and just believing the hype that they are. No, they are very humble. They remember why they started this, and they remember why they did this, and how they are with the fans, their collaborators. Like, I can tell that they're just the few times we've talked to them in person, that they are so unbearably kind and humble. They make you feel like they make you feel so rewarded for having to just hold down a great conversation with them, essentially, like, you know, like you've been friends hanging out in a bar. Like, that's the type of energy they have with everyone.
1,000%, man. They're the best. The whole team was, man. As a whole, just to kind of wrap everything up, the entire Mair and I, we do this professionally. We've been on, couldn't tell you how many sets, you know, of every of every level. You know, we've been doing this. You know, we've both been doing it for almost 20 years, and it's really special. Whether it's for something like a death battle or a film or whatever, but when you find a group of people who all come together for a singular purpose and a genuine love for the art form and what they're making and their fans, and are just all, no matter where they're at in their careers or in their lives, they're so grateful just to be there. And it comes through in the work and the energy on the set and just everything from top to bottom. It's truthfully, I'm pretty sure I can speak for Mair as well and say it's our favorite set to be on, is a death battle set. And you throw in our Ismahawk set and you throw in the death battle guys on top of that, and it's just, it doesn't get better. It's why we do it. And then to be in a position where it's something that we are able to interact so intimate with our fans while we do it, or fans of the show, and we get to all be excited about it together. Like, that's what this thing's supposed to be about. It's what it's supposed to feel like, and we get caught up in all the other nonsense, but at its core, this is the thing, and nothing sets our souls on fire more than being with these guys.
Absolutely. And
that's nice to hear.
So before we're getting close to the end, we do want to mention the soundtrack, because we like to talk about other things, like the soundtrack, Neon Ash, I think it's called. Brobuscus.
That's right.
Yeah. It was such a good song. Like,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, like the incorporation of Blade's techno music from the first movie, and occasionally Buffy's theme in there.
Yep.
That was like, Aaron from Theirwolf Media did a great job. I saw the behind the scenes with his rehearsals. He's a master with that guitar. Did y'all first hear it after it came out, or what did y'all think of it when you first heard it?
I'm trying to remember.
We were told. We didn't hear it until we saw the teaser. That was
okay.
Hearing anything, which wasn't even the full track, but we had been told, like, because that was a big question, was like, oh, what's the music gonna be like? What's the da-da-da? And they were like, we got a guy. We got a guy.
We got a guy.
He is incredible. I mean, I have a music background too. I was in music before I was an actor, and it's just so cool to see somebody who music is a hard thing to like be put into a box almost, where it's like, okay, when you're given certain restrictions or guidelines of like, you need to make this, it needs to sound like this by this time and by this, that. For me, that's always been a very difficult thing. It's easier to just like, all right, flow, make what you want to make, and just there you go. You have no restraints. For him to be able to do what he did takes a different type of brain power. Where you're like, where he was, he's like, okay, we're gonna incorporate this. We're also gonna make it sound almost exactly like the original, but not quite, because copyrights. So like, it was like just genius. So genius in the way it flowed all the way through. Oh, it was phenomenal. I love that song. I've been listening to it.
Yeah, it's a great track. It's a great track.
It is. Like, do you get pumped when you hear the ending, when you hear Buffy's theme fully kick in for the ending? Yeah,
and I was crazy because at first I was like, is that her actual theme song? It's it's not. It's their version of it, but he did such a great job of like creating this new version. But yeah, I get super hyped, and I love that transition there of when it's like all of a sudden it just kicks in, and it's kind of like all the weight of the world is just like off your shoulders. Like you can finally relax, and it's like, okay. It was really, really cool. Really cool.
That's awesome.
A little bit of trivia for you too.
Neon
Ash was actually the working title that we were putting on everything, so no one knew that it was Blade versus Buffy. We called it.
Okay. Because I imagine I imagine the crew, the Death Battle crew, have their own kind of way of giving the names to the track. So I didn't know that. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
So there you go. Now the track holds a special place in your hearts, because like it started as Neon Ash, and the track is called Neon Ash.
That's right. That's right.
That's so cool. Bro, ZDogg, do you have anything to add about the track?
I mean, no. I mean, it sounds really good. I mean, I do like I think we talked about this off recording. It does get the vibe of like the early Blade, like especially the Blade 1 rave scene gets that really well. And overall, I think it just fits with the fight really well. Like
Definitely.
Like I was gonna say, very cinematic, much like the whole fight, and I think it's just really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, they crushed it. The entire team from top to bottom just
absolutely
crushed it.
Absolutely. And transitioning that, I like we've been gushing with y'all, like y'all getting to see us gush. This is probably so we do a death battle ranking every year where we rank each episode, and the independent era has made it more harder for us. But I just got to say, like, this is probably one of our favorite fights. Like, I don't know, can I make that assumption right, ZDogg, Brobuscus? Like,
yeah, it's definitely up there.
There for sure. Although it has really stiff competition, though. To be fair, but
sure, it's death battle.
They've been kicking it out of the park, but like, no, this is definitely up there. But
this is one of my favorites personally, just because again, I love both Buffy, Blade. I love Ismahawk, and so it feels like this was meant for someone like those type of fans. Like this only gets better if you have seen Blade or Buffy.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, even like to someone like who's only seen the Blade movies, I thought this was I thought like just from the analyses alone and like everything, I was very entertained, and I think the characters, the characterization was done very well, and again, like there was just so much cool action throughout, so I'm very satisfied.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
The competition is stiff, but yeah, it's definitely at the very bare minimum, it's like up there as like one of the better ones this year, and that's even that.
Yeah.
Like a ton.
Yeah.
Especially with how many they're putting out, man. It's stiff competition, but
I know
part of it's just a dream come true for us,
Yeah.
I know, yes. And oh man, and this is probably the best of the trilogy. Again, trilogy in quotation marks.
But it's the best one by a country mile.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree.
Yes, and I'm so happy y'all got to be, because you talk about that. It's like this felt like it wasn't just a collaboration. Like this was like a bunch of friends getting to work together again, and y'all had such a good time, like on your podcast and the interviews. Y'all have nothing but great stories about the making of this, and it kind of bleeds over. Like you kind of just when you watch it now, it's like, oh my gosh, this fight just gets even better.
Right.
Well, that's the way filmmaking's supposed to be. We're in such a weird era right now of YouTube content, which can be so great, right? Like,
yes.
Like they do a fantastic, like Death Battle does a great job of making a show. Like it's a full-blown production. They really handle things very well. And most of it comes from they refer to their fans not as fans, but as our community. Just like so you guys know, when you're not around, that's how they refer to you guys. Like they really, really care. And we're in this weird era of like fast food content where people, it's like, just make something, just make it. And while there's a lot being filmed and a lot of money to be made in those spaces, it kills your soul if you got into this to be an artist. Like, if I wanted to just make fast food films and garbage content and I didn't really care about the quality or the storytelling or the audience, I just wanted to make money off of it, I would have gotten a different job. One that like paid way better and more frequently. So, so it's just so refreshing, especially to see people in the YouTube space. There's only really one or two other big YouTube companies that I've worked with where I can say like they handle things like a pro. And for the most part, like nobody cares. Like they're just like, whatever, we're just putting out the content. And that sucks, but these guys are really doing it great. And it's like, they're completely independent. And normally you don't see that type of respect for the art form and for the audience unless you're on a, kind of like an art house / studio type of set. And even then it's rare. So really cool, really, really cool. Honored to be a part of it.
Yes.
Hey, and I'm not even just like gassing this up as much as I am because you two are here. No, this was fantastic.
This was absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how better to describe it. It's just
Yeah,
I had like expectations going into it because like obviously right
yeah.
you know I had read some of Blade's comics in the lead up to this when I was researching him for the last episode, but we're going from that to this, and I'm like, damn, man. Like at that point, like even though I was like Team Blade from day one, like that loss, I mean it stung because like of course it does. It's your preferred character here, but I was still like, well, okay.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey there.
Yeah,
Exactly.
trademark.
But no, this was amazing. Y'all knocked it out of the park.
Thank you so much, buddy.
No.
Here's to number 4. Whatever.
Yes. No.
Whatever that.
I hope. Yeah. I hope y'all get to both y'all get to collaborate with Death Battle again because it looks like it's such a fun time. And before you go, we have to do this thing where we do with all of our guests.
Oh yeah.
It's traditional. So, bro, you want to set it up?
Yeah, we might need to speedrun it though. We've been going on for a little longer than I was expecting. But
that's fair.
Yeah, we've been having a good time. That's
yes, exactly. We're talking with new friends. That's worth it.
It's also like for the final episode, we're gonna have to talk about. We have our next segment, but obviously that's later. But
But anyway.
Yeah. So I just kind of speed run it real quick. I know I don't know how I know you guys well at least Tyler, you said you've been watching Death Battle before you ever got casted, but does a particular episode stand out to you as probably your favorite one?
Let me think. Probably.
Would it be a challenge if I said don't name the ones that you worked on?
Yeah.
Oh no! Of course.
I might sense bias there.
Yeah, right. No, of course. Let's see. The one that comes to mind whenever I think about it, and this may be a cop-out answer, but Goku Superman 1.
Yeah,
that's classic.
I Goku Superman 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And then which one? What's another one that really stands out? I mean, as soon as we jump off here, I'm going to think of 100 other ones.
Yeah.
Well, there's over 200, so you got options.
Yeah.
No. Email them to me, and I'll mention it.
There you go. Yeah, I'll lock in at Goku Superman.
All right.
Good choice.
Good choice. Mair, do you have a favorite episode of Death Battle? That since you're now new to Death Battle, was there an episode you went back and you watched that you're like, ooh, I really like that one?
Yes, just because it was so obscure, and I was I thought it was only superheroes at first, because my favorite is the Nightwing versus Daredevil, because that was the first one I had seen. That's the first time I was introduced to Death Battle. I had seen, before Tyler and I were dating, I had seen him post a clip of it on his Instagram, and I was like, what is this? And then I watched that episode and I was like, oh my god, this is really cool. But then I watched Mario versus Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this? But I just thought it was so funny and clever. I was like, this is great. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if you've watched this goes to both of you, but I don't know if you watched every single one lately.
No, definitely I've missed a few.
I'm gonna recommend one, and there's a good chance you've probably seen it, because it's got crazy numbers when it came out. Even now, I'm still seeing new reactions to it. I saw one on the way home from work today. Bowser versus Eggman. You guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I've been hearing about a lot about that one.
That was peak.
Yes, it is. It's one of the best.
You have to watch that one. That one's
got it.
Mair, you were talking about Mario versus Sonic. That one goes. Oh God, that one's cool.
Yes.
We got some homework.
Yeah.
There you
go. Well, okay. So normally I would be like, so what's the one a match you guys want to see the most? Well, since you guys like work on the show, okay. My question is now, if you had to pick what number 4 is, what immediately? What would you say immediately springs to mind?
I mean, I have like some secret wants that I
can't say those. Yeah.
but
Oh damn!
if
I forgot about that. All right.
If I'm coming from a completely like a fan perspective and taking like, my own bias out of it,
Yeah.
I don't know, live action wise, if I think of things that I could see feasible, Wick versus Bond would be a good one.
Well.
They already did that. They beat you to it, sadly. Yes, no, that's more homework. So they actually did do James Bond versus John Wick.
That would have been a good live.
Yeah, no, that's what we said back then. But no, it was a 3D animation. But to be fair to the people who animated that, it was pretty good. It's basically just like, okay, here's all the James Bonds into one versus John Wick. And you can tell that they're having so much fun with it in the animation.
Have they ever done... Okay, I've got a couple.
Okay, go.
But you have to tell me what you think.
Go ahead.
Harry Potter versus Frodo. Have they done that?
They did.
No.
They did Harry versus Luke Skywalker like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. That's cool. They're pretty much the same character.
She's not wrong.
Or I would love to see Voldemort versus Sauron.
Oh,
okay.
That'd be a good one.
That'd be good.
And like selfishly, if they did a live action, I would love to see. I'm sure you guys have already done it. Oh goodness, why am I spacing on the name right now? Hold on, it'll come back to me. But
okay.
I'll say it at the end.
Well, there is a Sauron episode. You guys can go check that out too.
It's
not Voldemort, but
Have you played World of Warcraft? Because it's the Lich King from World of Warcraft versus Sauron.
Nice.
Yes, it's a very great looking episode.
Sounds good.
All right, cool. Well, all right, we've been going on for a hot minute, so
we'll let you guys get out of here.
No, thank you.
We'll probably wrap this part up so we can move on. To our next one.
Yes, we're gonna have a sick transition intermission segment.
Yeah.
But no. Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry.
Thank you guys for coming.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
You.
I was just going to say that. We're all on the same wavelength. Thank you guys so much for coming on here. We really loved. Honestly, if we could, like, if time could stop, we would just talk with both of y'all for like the whole day and get some great insight, like, not only to the episode but to just you as people, because that reminds me. Please go. I'll plug for y'all if that's okay. Like, please go check out Tyler and Mair's podcast, Ever Forward. It is so insightful to them as people. They tell some great stories, and again, they are just two awesome people that I'm very happy could join us today.
Oh,
thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you so much, and ditto. You guys are great. Thank you for reaching out and on all outlets. You guys were good. You were like, hey, we want, and I was like, dude, yeah. So I checked you guys out and was like, absolutely. Thanks for wanting to chat.
Yes, thank you. We're fans. We're fans of all things Death Battle, but we're also fans of other things outside of that. So this is like the closest thing for us to do a collaboration with Ismahawk because we love them so much. Thank you both for everything.
Thank you guys. This was a lot of fun. Always down to chat, and it was a lot of fun. We've got some more stuff coming down the pipeline with Ismahawk. And check out the Ever Forward podcast and some of the other silly shit that we're going to be putting out pretty soon.
Yes, we'll leave a link down in the description below. And yes, please go support both Tyler and Mair. They're awesome.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Thank you so much,
y'all.
guys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Thank you.
Yep. So
Bye.
we're gonna move on now. We're gonna let these two go. We're gonna bring our other guest on. So for us, it'll be in about 2 weeks from now. For you guys watching, it'll take about 5 seconds, or however long my stupid freaking intermission thing is.
Yeah.
So we'll see you guys then.
Yeah.